Today is a different day, a strange day in the history of heaven and earth. Today is the day when everything seems to stop, the day the world is silent. Jesus has been placed in the tomb. The stone has been closed. The voices have faded. The shouting crowds are gone. The disciples have hidden themselves. And hope seems to have died away. This is Holy Saturday, the day when, for many, it seems that God was silent. Imagine that moment. Evening slowly falls over Jerusalem. The streets that were full of noise yesterday now feel empty. In the hearts of those who loved Jesus there is confusion, sadness, and fear. They don't understand what is happening. Yesterday they saw him suffer. Yesterday they saw him carry the cross. Yesterday they saw him die. And now, only silence remains. Perhaps you've felt this way before, as if you had prayed and received no answer, as if you had waited for a miracle and it didn't come, as if God were silent. Holy Saturday speaks precisely of those moments in life. Moments when it seems that everything is over. Moments when faith is tested. Moments when heaven seems closed. But there is something that many don't see. Even though all seemed lost, God was still working. Even though the world thought that history had ended, God's plan was still silently unfolding. That is the mystery of Holy Saturday. God works even when we don't see him. God acts even when we don't feel him. God prepares the resurrection in the midst of silence. While Jesus' body rests in the tomb, heaven is not defeated. Love has not been vanquished. The light hasn't gone out. Hope hasn't died. It's just waiting for the perfect moment. And in the midst of that silence, there's a heart that continues to believe. The heart of Mary. She too suffered. She too wept. She too felt the deepest pain a mother can experience. But within her soul, something remained unbroken. Faith. Mary remembered God's words. She remembered the promises. She remembered that God's love never abandons us. And even though she didn't understand everything, she trusted. Sometimes faith is like that. We don't always understand. We don't always see the way. We don't always know why certain things happen. But we choose to trust. Holy Saturday teaches us that true faith is often lived in silence. It's not a day of visible miracles. It's not a day of crowds. It's not a day of glory. It's a day of waiting. And the waiting is also part of God's plan. Perhaps someone listening to this reflection today is experiencing their own Holy Saturday. Perhaps you are going through a difficult time. Perhaps you feel that God is far away. Perhaps you carry a burden in your heart that no one knows about. But there is something you should remember today. God's silence does not mean absence. Often it means preparation. When God seems silent, he is often working in the depths. He is healing things we don't see. He is smoothing paths. He is preparing a new life. Holy Saturday reminds us that the end of the story has not yet arrived. Because after silence comes resurrection. After night comes light. After pain comes hope. God never abandons what he loves. And if today you feel you are in the midst of silence, listen to this with your heart. Your story is not over yet. God continues to write your path. God continues to work in the unseen. God continues to prepare something new for your life. Sometimes the greatest miracle happens just when we think all is lost. That was the mystery of that day. The world believed that death had won, but in reality, life was about to triumph. Heaven was silent, but eternity was preparing to speak with power. And very soon, that silence would be broken forever. That is why Holy Saturday is a day of contemplation, a day to pause, a day to trust, a day to remember that God is never late. Perhaps today you won't see the answer you're waiting for. Perhaps today there will only be silence. But don't lose faith, because when God seems to be silent, often He is preparing the greatest miracle. Be at peace. Rest in hope. Trust in God's love. Because after the silence of the tomb, the morning of resurrection always arrives. Let's spread the word of God together. Share this video with someone who needs it today.